This video was recorded during the Dublin Wood Turners Guild meeting on the 1st of March 2025. The demonstration was performed by Tom Dunlop, who travelled all the way from Wexford. During this video, Tom demonstrates various spindle turning techniques.
you. The owner of car highly prominently 5.570 Toyota Auris. Will you move it, please? It's parked in the corner opposite the driveway there. And also the owner of the Longy Future 111 2.038.
We'll make a motion again. Right, lads. We'll have another go here now, if you like.
Hello. Could we all take our seats, please? Because we get through a long work here, and we also have to get back down to next one, so we can't keep them here all day.
Got a few, 3 or 4 year yokes down there. Excellent, appreciate that. Thanks very much. Thank you.
All right, lads, shall we take our seats, please? We're going to restart, lads. Come on, guys, let's get ourselves organized. Can we sit down, please? Pat, Charlie, do we get into the competition? Only one is the number, okay? No problem. I've got the phone, I just need to stop again.
Now, lads, hold on, Tom. Just 1 second.
Sorry, I know I'm disrupting the day. My name's Mick O'Toole. I run one of the men's sheds down the Crumlin area. We've gone to the parish church in Barrowheads, Sundry Road, and they're getting rid of all the benches. So if anybody is interested in them, they're looking for small donations to the parish office. Now, there's over, I'd say, over 200 of these on there. The timber is all good and dry. It's actually, the benches are made of mahogany wood for it. It cost them too much to actually get them renovated, so they went to buy new ones. So if you contact the parish office, small donations to them down there, and there's benches there. Some of them are the big long ones, maybe good half size of them, maybe about a quarter size. The gift of it is that they're all solid. The legs are almost square because we took some of them into the shed, cut them down, and they're ideal then for doing a little bit of toning as well. So, as I say, the office there, gentlemen, and
what parish was it?
St. Benedict's Church on Sunrise Road. Now, the only thing I would say to you lads, if you're going to have to collect one, you will need a van. Or bring an extension here or whatever, and if you're going to put it up, the maximum. Take it out once you're cleaned up on the next. So, gents, there's the office.
Alright, that's made up.
Okay, lad.
The competition winners. The beginners is Brendan O'Looney. Very good. Experience is the advanced is Michael Stevens. And then the artistic is Charlie Warren.
Okay, guys, we'll pass over to Tom now. And just remember, St. Bernard's on Sunrise Road is the one you look up to get a number to ring the office if you want one of those. Okay? Okay,
Okay, lads.
Sorry.
Michael O'Toole there, don't you?
Yes, Michael and Michael Colopy.
And then will you remember as well? Brendan O'Looney.
Brendan O'Looney. Is that who you
If
have?
anybody else, I developed.
So welcome guys, and visitors, you're more welcome to come back anytime. And if you want to bring a couple of the men from the men's shed up to us, one of our meetings, more than welcome. Alright, cheers. Okay, pass you over Tom.
Alright lads, we'll get going again because that topic is going way too fast for me today, so I just want to get another bit done. Look, I'm gonna go through this leg now, right? It's just no, really, that's what I think good man. Still alright, that's a typical little leg now for a footstool. Okay? Now you can see there that I'm walking in here now between two pommels, right? This is a piece of yew. Yew in general can be beautiful, and it can also be very troublesome. It's a lovely timber, lots of different colours running through it and so on, but some of it can be tough enough in terms of the grain and stuff. But I like using it. It's good and hard, and of course the old rule is the harder the timber, the easier it is to turn. Fruit woods, yew, apple, crab, pear, all of those. The disadvantage with them all is that they're devils for splitting. It's so hard to save them, so hard to preserve them. But you have to put up with what you have, and that's it. I can see with this other rough and down gouge, it gives you more options than the first one as well. And you can see how useful it is to be using the whole of the edge at both ends, left and right, when you're opening into this space here. Because the other option here is to use the parting tool to go in there, which I will do later on. But you try to minimise the picking up of the tools, the number that you have to keep changing. And the important thing to remember is that they all have an edge, and you can use them in different ways. I saw Dave Stubbs demonstrating one time. Well, I saw him 3 times actually, but he picked a little splitting axe out of his box that you'd use for splitting kindling, and he used it as a skew chisel. So yeah, he just said, look, there's an edge on this, it's the curved edge. Now some people put a curved edge on the skew. I don't, as I said, my skew with me is only on a needs must, but he picked out this little hatchet and he used it to do all the work. So it just shows you, like, the edge is there, it depends on, you want to know how to use it, and that's it. Ideally, you should be ambidextrous, but I'm not ambidextrous. When I was going to school, I was told I was awkward because I was left-handed. So, just had to put up with that for a few years and get on with it. But yeah, it's nice to be able to switch over. I'm not able to switch over. And I think I explained it the last day when I doing the beads, that when you're rolling a bead, because I'm left-handed, the right-hand side of my bead is always better than the left-hand side, because I don't put sugar in my tea that way. Right? So that explains it. I don't put sugar in my tea anyway, but if you were doing it, you'd automatically do that or that. But when you're rolling the bead and you're not ambidextrous, you're doing that with one half of the bead, whichever half it happens to be. Right, now we just have a quick look at this and head on into getting it down to the right shape. Now I find that a blessing. I don't like a measuring tape when I'm at the lathe. It's harder to set a calipers with it. This is simple. You tip it off the end of it, you hold it there, and away you go. The measuring tape starts kinking, it falls down, you're all over the place, you need about 6 hands. That's well worth having, and there are longer ones as well. But it's very easy to see the measurements on it as well. So I like that. Now, I'd like to take off that little bolt that's there, right, from the parting tool, or sorry, from the skew. As I said, the skew is going in like a wedge and it's turning out the grain, and if you leave that there, it'll get under this edge here, and it'll trip you up when you're rolling the feet. Now, I think I said it the last day, and I'm going to say it again. I heard Richard Raffin saying, if you don't have the courage to go back and take off that little bit that you know you should take off, you'll never make a wood turner. And it'll get you into trouble a lot of the time, but you'd have to persist. Because there's nothing as bad as taking it off the lathe and looking at it and saying, something wrong there. You know, you just didn't give it the last touch or whatever. Oh, did I not put that in the middle? Anyway, this is the bottom of the leg for the whole album, so.
And you have to go in.
I must have gone to the wrong side of the center. I don't know what.
You mark the middle and then hit the beat.
Hands up. Say that again.
You mark the middle
Yeah.
and then went to the end and you did the beat on one side.
Yeah, and you should have corrected me.
You were going so well, you know,
As I said at the start there now, you can see that that's an easier gouge to get a finish on that sweep there than the spindle gouge, because it fits into the curve, it's bigger, and this is a big long sweeping curve. And if you were doing that with the spindle gouge, you'd have trouble here in the centre all the time. So again, this is not just a rough and down tool. Now I don't call it a rough and out gouge, because it doesn't go into a bowl, right? That's one tool you don't put into a bowl when you're doing face plate turning. It is strictly a spindle turning tool. And if you go back to the shape of the tools, this is a forged spindle gouge, right? And it's probably nearly as old as myself. Right? And they were all made like that. And all my starting tools were forged gouges. And then along comes what? Yeah, oh no, that's not it. No, I don't think I brought one. Yeah, this is another forged one. Along comes the fully round spindle gouge, a round bar. And then there's the confusion between, is that a spindle gouge or is it a bowl gouge? And the only way of actually defining them, as far as I'm concerned, is that the deep fluted one with the narrow opening at the top is a bowl gouge. And the wider one with a shallower curve but a wider curve is a spindle gouge. Now, they say you're not supposed to be differentiating between the two of them, because you can basically use them over and back. But this one, no. That's out. Oh yeah, there's a fully round bar. Right? Now, is that a bowl gouge or a spindle gouge? I don't know, it doesn't matter to me. You know, that's the way it is. So, it was a nightmare when I started turning to be trying to figure out what you should be buying and what you needed. And if I was to give you a list of tools here today as a beginner, to do what I'm doing here today, I'd give you five tools, and you can make what I'm making here. After that, you can get different variations of the same tool. You can get a smaller one and a bigger one, or whatever. But I'd be starting you off with 5 spindle turning tools. A rough and out gouge, sorry, a rough and down gouge, oh, just tripped myself up again. A rough and down gouge, 2 parting tools, a 9 and a 3. You can get a 6 if you want, if you have money to spend. And 2 spindle gouges. Probably a 12 and a 6. Okay? So there's 2, there's 4, and there's 5. Now, once you're able to use all those, you need to buy 1 or 2. You just need, you don't need them. Okay? Once we were all there, we went to the seminars, we went up, we got the shopping bag, we bought all the tools, put them in the boot of the car, brought them home, and they're probably still shiny. Because we saw another fella using one that we didn't have and we thought we had to have. But that is not actually the case. So it takes years. And how long have I had? 42 years. It takes years to realise that you don't have to follow anyone else. You just get the basics, do your own thing, and develop and go along like that. Right. Finish this. Okay, now I can't finish the top end of this because the chuck won't hold this here, and I'm not going to bother putting in the driving centre up here and taking off the chuck, right? So the intention was just to put a continuous pommel in here to the top and then part that off and finish it off by hand, okay?
Tom, you were saying that you wouldn't make the second one of them, you wouldn't copy from the one you put on top.
If I was making the second?
If we were to make the second one of those.
Yes.
You were saying you do a story first and then copy, is it?
With something as simple as this, I wouldn't bother making a template. When I have this one made, I write template on it. So I was making 4 or 8, I keep picking up the template to mark out the rest of them. Now you see how easy it was to get a nice even finish in here in the centre with the rough and out gouge, compared to maybe if I chose to use the big spindle gouge. Again, just another option, but I was trying to point out the fact that this is very useful in a space like that. Again, as I said earlier, be happy with it before you take it off the lathe. Don't be sorry when you have it finished that you should have done something else. Okay. We skip on the top of that then because of the difficulty of trying to grab it up there, right? So, John, thanks. Now, the next project is a cabriole leg, right? Now, the two of these look the same. They look identical, but they're not identical, they're different, right? And how are they different? Well, let's see, make sure I explain it correctly. This one has the toe in line with the face, right? And this one has the toe in line with the diagonal, right? So when you're moving it for the offset at the base, you move this one in the simplest way on the diagonal that you already drew to put it in the center, right? And then you measure out how much of an offset you want. In this case, it's 9 millimeters. But when you're making this one, this is your original center for rough and down. You then have to ignore the two diagonals here and split them and come down the 9 millimeters down here. You see the pencil line on the bottom, okay? I passed them around. So it depends on what you want. If you were making a table, and these were the 4 legs, and you have them square up here and the rails are going around, I think it's nicer to have this coming out on the diagonal. It's only a matter of preference. But if you have it coming out on the diagonal, that's the way you mark it out. And if you have it coming out on the face, you just work off of the original diagonals that you squared across the bottom first. Does everybody understand that? Got your great students. I don't think I need to be here taught. All right. Now, we'll put up a piece of cherry and we'll have a run at that. I'll have to bring this bit home with me when I'm finished. You can keep everything else, but I'll have to bring this home. There's woodworm in it. I can't be responsible for the scout hall. There's woodworm up here in the top of this, and there's woodworm in an awful lot of timber that I still have in my workshop. And the mistake I made, well, one of the mistakes I made was, let's see now, if I do this down at the bottom, I might get rid of that. One of the mistakes I made, I kept bringing timber into the workshop with the bark on it. And I stole and I borrowed and I begged timber when I was starting to do wood turning. So anything went. If I could get my hands on it and get it home, I kept it. I'm now culling it. I'm culling it regularly out of the rack in the workshop. And every time I go back to the piece that I culled or that I cleaned up last year, there's woodworm in it again. So it's going for firing at the moment, and that's all I can do with it. So it was a mistake to bring it in. If I was back again, I'd have it in an outside shed or an open shed out in the yard with the wind blowing through it and blowing it out. But anyway, you might as well have my experience if it's any help to you. But that's what happened in my place. So I'm going to put this at the bottom. Another thing I forgot to mention earlier, when you're doing spindle turning, the last thing you need in any kind of turning is vibration. And always keep to the minimum the length of the barrel that's projecting out of the tailstone. That cuts down the vibration to some extent. You'll have an awful album of pictures at the end of this. Hands up those who figured it out. Well, no. Anybody figure it out?
Bar stool.
What?
The bar stool, Rosa.
Oh, I know what it is. I'm wondering how to make it.
Off center.
What?
Off center.
Yeah, it's off center. I'll make it easy for you. As they say in all good cookery programs, this is what I made earlier. Right? That's what it has to come out of. And this portion here has its center there and there. Right? And this one at this end has its center there and there. And this bit in the middle has to be planed down by hand and rounded. Okay? You want to see it? The lines are on it there. That's the kind of thing a fellow walks into the workshop with and says, I have a little job for you. And it's the worst thing he would say to me, because I say I don't do little jobs, there's no such thing. There is no such thing.
Tom, if you would have 5 points on you, would you do it better?
I wouldn't try it even, Vincent. Now I can't see the pummel line on that. Is that 5 to 12 for that, is it?
It is, yes, yeah.
Okay.
What type of finish would you put now on spindle work?
What?
What type of finish would you use for spindle work?
I usually don't put that on it. Let whoever wants it do whatever they want with it themselves. Yeah. There'll be enough time gone into it, making it without worrying about what they want to put on it. You know. Now, this is a lovely piece of timber. It's a bit of cherry, and there's the woodworm there. Look at it. See it there? See the dust in there in the channels?
Male or female?
We won't worry about that. Now I want to get the maximum diameter out of this, so I just be careful taking it down. Now that's a lovely cut, and I got that by literally pulling the rough and down gouge down along the work instead of pushing it, right? And you can do it either way, as long as the bevel is lovely. That's it. You're going to get a clean cut. So you have the option of going like that, or you have the option of going like that, or like this. And it's useful to be able to do all three, because it gets you into places and out of trouble and all that stuff.
Say that's 9 millimeters offset?
Yeah. It depends on how much of a toe you want on it. This one is going to be a little bit less, but you can. It's going to be really determined by how much you're leaving here, so that you still have room to put the tool rest in there, or the tailstop, right? Because you're limited. If you come out, you can't come out beyond this circle here. Now you have to stop every now and again to see how you're going with this, because you just want to come around until, let's see, can I mark it for you? There's that much left at the back now, right, until I meet there in the centre, right? So I don't want to go in much further here, or I'll be gone in beyond the width of the timber that I have at the back for the straight line, okay? So start off on a slow speed when you're doing this little bit. Walk this, keep well up here. Don't go down too near that down there. Otherwise, you might end up running out of road at the very bottom. All clear? Yeah, we're just about there now. Well, I won't do any more down there now for the moment, because I'm just coming to the point here where I'm back at this surface, alright? And the height of that looks okay. So I'll walk this now from here down to this and marry the whole lot in together. Now, something worth noting here is that because this is off centre, and I'm not going right up to the very end, the pommel up here is not going to be symmetrical on the 4 flat edges. The pommel is going to win a little bit further just to meet that point in there, because this is a taper going from here up to here. But I'm only working up to there, right? But you don't really have to worry about it. It's just, it'll work itself out. And it's just when you have it done that you see what has actually happened. See, the pommel is only, sorry lads. Sorry Mike. The pommel is only that distance in here and there. But when I go around here, it's that and that. But that works itself out. You don't have to measure it around, just let it happen. But when it's done, you're saying to yourself, what did I do wrong there? And you didn't do anything wrong, because the taper is going the whole way from there up to here, and the rest of it is not being turned. Pass it around there, John, and let him see what I'm after explaining there, will you please? This is a far cry from what you saw last month, isn't it? Surely is. Now.
No, it's not.
What?
It's not.
Well, it's a different form of wood turning, isn't it? Right. Now I have that married in nicely there, and the taper is reasonable. But up here at the top now, I have the problem. Well, it's not a problem, but I have the issue that I was explaining to you a few minutes ago, where there's a knob of timber here at the front and over here at this side where the toe is, and I just have to merge that in together now. Now probably the safest and easiest way to do that is maybe with the parting tool. Now I left a little mark here in the leg here, and I'd have to re-center to take it out of it. got to finish the poem. Yeah.
What exactly does pummel mean? I've only been had it before with a pummel.
I don't know. I can explain what it is, but I don't know what the word means.
The corby bit?
I would have always thought it's this shape here. I don't know whether it's the square or whether it's this. But as I showed you earlier with that first leg that I turned up there in the morning, there was an OG pummel on it, and I was calling it an OG pummel because that's the shape that was down here, at the transition between the square and the round. So,
I've been Googling it here.
I think you'll have to go to Mr. Google.
Beating somebody up.
What does he say?
Pummeling, beating him up.
What?
Beating somebody up.
I never heard an explanation for it. I never heard any, to be honest.
Is it not possible to have a saddle?
I would have thought there's a difference. There's a pommel and a pummel.
Yeah.
A pummel is to beat somebody up, but a pummel is a knob at the end of it.
So am I mispronouncing it then? Is it a P-O or a P-U? Ah, yeah. Oh, that's the old New Ross accent again. I went up to Mayo last Saturday and the girl at the desk said to me, and I'm booking into the hotel for Willie's seminar, she said, what part of Wexford are you from? I said, oh, hold on a minute now, do you need to be paid here today?
John, when you look it up properly, when you spell it properly, it says it's the end, it's not at the end of the soul, or an old fashioned gun.
Loads of explanations there, lads. I'm living in New Ross, but I'm living in Kilkenny. And you know the postal address cracked. Yeah. And we can go to town fairly often, we're alright. So there you go, right? And that one is on the diagonal, okay? Because I put it on the diagonal here, the offset. If you don't want it on the diagonal, put it on the other line that splits the diagonals passing through the center, okay? will not know. Look, there's the reason. See that? That would never happen. That would never happen with the rough and down guard. I explained that earlier on. The skew can give you a beautiful finish sometimes, but it can give you a terrible finish then other times, because it's going in under the grain there now when I'm peeling that. Now, it has to be up very high on the work. It's almost up here at 12 o'clock. The cutting is usually done around 11 o'clock, if you're looking in here at the face of the clock, right? So, you know, if your rough and down gouge has gone blunt and you have this to do and the skew is still sharp, you might use it to rough it down, but no, I don't. Generally, I don't. No, it's not something I would be doing. Now again, if the tool rest is in the wrong place, stop and change. Don't be taking chances and it'll be alright. It won't be alright. You probably noticed, well I hope you did anyway, I'm travelling with the tools when I'm working. You know, I'm going in a flow, I'm putting the pressure on this leg here, and then I'm putting the pressure on the other leg there, but I'm not moving my feet. And the movement has to be fluid. And as I said earlier, I find if I'm talking when I'm doing it, I'm just transferring a movement into my hand that I don't want to be there. Now, that's okay if you're looking for your final cut. But I also said earlier that I kind of treat every cut as my final cut, because it's a practice all the time. The idea with the pattern tool is, as you do that, you go head for the middle, you go in and out. You don't go horizontal and straight in. You start down here, you touch the timber up there at about 10 o'clock, and then you walk an arc as if you were going right into the centre. That's the arc, and that's the best shaving or cut that you get. See that? Now, again, you know, a very reasonable cut off the tools, no need for any sanding until you get to the finished shape. But you do not shape it, you do not shape it with sandpaper. Just forget about that. I know I did it for a long time because I wasn't able to get the shapes right, but it's a mug's game. It really is. You're at nothing. You're knocking off the sharpness of all the cuts that you've made. Well, that's if you made them correctly. You've knocked off all the sharpness of them. And when you stand them up and look at them, they're just all kind of rounded in and merged into each other. And it doesn't look good. So now, there we go with that, and we just put a few lines on this now. I'm after getting a signal there from Pat now that we're under the clock. Again, this is just another pattern of a lake. Look at, you know, you can take a photograph when you're in the restaurant eating your dinner or wherever you are, and you see a nice piece of furniture. We don't have to go to the car for the camera anymore, do we? It's there at your hand. Click, bring it home. The only thing you have to be careful about when you do that and bring it home is you have to get the proportions right. You have the outline, but you don't have the measurements. And the best way to do that is to sit down some night with a piece of graph paper that the kids that have in school in the graph book, right? It's all squared out. And draw it out as best you can and shape it, and then move over to the side and do another one beside it, and set it out in such a way that you're happy with this one. But don't try to design it on the lathe. That's a total waste of time. You can do that with a bowl, and that's why I think spindle turning is harder. You can get away with a bowl starting. Your idea is it's going to be like this when it's finished, but it doesn't have to be. If it goes wrong, you can change the shape. If this goes wrong, you have to throw it out, start again. So it's probably the best way to learn turning efficiently is to do spindle turning, because you're going to have to find a way to be precise. And there are no hiding places then. You just can't hide from it. Didn't explain that all day, but when I'm going in to make this cut here, that's the way my hand is. That thumb is very important. These fingers are on the tool rest here. But this thumb is going to stop that from doing that, which it wants to do if you just touch it incorrectly. Now, did you see that lovely shaving with the rough and down there? Yeah. That's cutting. There you go, look. And that's a rough and down gouge. So it just proves the point that I made, that if you're using the tools to the best advantage, you're just going to get a lot out of them. Alright, is the 5 minutes up, Pat? Yeah. Okay. Right, lads, look, we'll leave it there. Alright.
I just want to say thanks again to Tom for coming up all the way from Wexford, South Wexford. I know from experience most people when they're in Wexford never want to leave it. So
there's a river dividing us now, Pat, down there.
So thanks again, and we'll see you next year.
Okay, yeah. Pat, yeah. Dream on.
Thank you.
We have the dream already there, yeah. Tom, it's okay.
Alright, Tommy.
Okay, guys, Wednesday we're here again, 2 o'clock. So if anybody can make it on Wednesday,